markets are speculating whether Credit Suisse is the new Lehmann Brothers, whether Credit Suisse will announce bankruptcy, whether it will go down like Lehmann Brothers went down in 2008 in US. As you know, Credit Suisse is a very large global bank predominantly based out of Switzerland. It is currently the second largest bank in Switzerland as we speak. I personally believe Credit Suisse will not go down like Lehman Brothers because of multiple reasons. The first reason is the presence of leverage in the 2008 crisis, which was the trigger for Lehman Brothers to go down. They were highly leveraged on their balance sheet. Their capital adequacy was under constraint. They were growing rapidly at that point in time on the back of various derivative products that eventually resulted in their default and then bankruptcy. Credit Suisse, on the other hand, if you look at their banking tradition, if you look at the way their business is structured, they are much more aggressive on wealth management and other areas which do not have leverage. Their balance sheet presence in investment banking and leverage products are much lower. Why are we here? Why are we talking about Credit Suisse suddenly after many years of Lehman default? You have to understand two incidents triggered this entire speculation. Last year, Credit Suisse lost almost $2 billion in a transaction where they had lent to Greensill Capital. They were not able to give the money back and they had to announce a write-off. Earlier this year, there was also one more controversy where there was a hedge fund which was growing rapidly. Their assets under management were also rising. Archegos Capital. They had raised what is called as margin funding from Credit Suisse and few other investment banks. Margin funding is where you take a loan from a bank against your collateral, against your securities that you keep with them. Unfortunately, the trades that the hedge fund took went into losses and Credit Suisse was unable to liquidate the positions on time. As a result, they lost approximately $5 billion earlier this year. This triggered a lot of questions about their internal workings, risk management decisions that they were taking about whom to fund, whom not to fund, and so on and so forth. There is no denying the fact that they have been going through a lot of turbulence. They have had a lot of management issues. Their CEO were in the news for bad reasons. They've gone through a lot of management restructuring at the top level. Their cost has gone up over the last 2-3 years. One of the main reasons why Credit Suisse profits have come under trouble, apart from these recent losses, is also that cost of funding has gone up. As you would be aware, Europe has been seeing very high rates of inflation. As a result, the interest rates have been increased a lot. And for a bank, higher interest rate basically means higher funding cost. So they have been having cost constraints, no doubt about that. Will they actually go bankrupt like Lehman because of all this? As I said earlier, I don't think so. Reason number one is leverage is not present in the current case. Obviously, as a bank, they do have leverage, but nothing close to what you would expect for bankruptcy to happen. Credit Suisse, in fact, has one of the healthiest capital adequacy ratio among its peers. It has something called as CET1 or Common Equity Tier 1 capital of almost 13.5% as per their latest numbers, which is very high in the banking side. So high capital essentially means that they have good loss absorbing capacity. The second important reason why I believe Credit Suisse may not go down is their liquidity coverage ratio. They have enough short-term liquidity to cover 2 times their short-term liabilities. So they have something called liquidity coverage ratio, which is almost 194% as we speak. So a very high amount of liquidity makes it comfortable for a bank to take care of any short-term outflows that may come in due to such rumors going around in the market. You may have a situation where deposit holders suddenly redeem their money. So you need to have enough liquidity for paying off all that, which at this stage Credit Suisse seems to have as per its balance sheet. Why is the market concerned? If market knows about all this, is 2 important market factors. One is the fall in their market price. Credit Suisse share price has gone down by more than 50% over the last few months. That is one trigger which kind of tells you that maybe something is not right. The second trigger is something called as increase in credit default swap spreads. It's a little technical. CDS spread is nothing but the cost of insurance that somebody would pay to buy a protection against Credit Suisse defaulting. So let's assume I have some money receivable from Credit Suisse and I think that maybe Credit Suisse will not give me back. I can buy an insurance against that possible defaulter. The premium on such insurance, which is called as credit default swap, has gone up over the last 2 to 3 months. It has surged a lot. In fact, the premiums are now at level for Credit Suisse, which was last seen during 2008. Hence the comparison. So definitely the market is spooked, no doubt about that. It is creating some liquidity cost issues for Credit Suisse. But as I said, I don't think there is enough at this stage to believe that they will go bankrupt. Credit Suisse recently brought in a new CFO just a few days back. He was working with Deutsche Bank earlier as their group treasurer. As somebody who has steered Deutsche Bank through a lot of trouble over the last decade, I believe he has the experience to handle similar situation in Credit Suisse. So this management change probably will augur well for them. We will have to wait for what the management announces later this month. On the 29th of October, they will announce their strategy of restructuring and how to come out of their issues. One of the possible things they will do is they will probably hive off or sell their investment banking division. Credit Suisse has never been known for their IB business, but it is one of the businesses where a couple of losses have occurred, including the prime brokerage fiasco I spoke about. They will, I think, go back to their core business reliance. They're very strong on their retail banking in Europe. They're also extremely strong in their global wealth management business, where they and the counterpart Swiss bank UBS are the market leaders in that segment. So I think these two businesses will be able to get them that kind of stability. They have anyways been de-risking their balance sheet over the last few years. They have anyways been reducing the size of their balance sheet, so higher risk is not being taken by them. Their leverage, as I said, is not very high. Unlike Lehmann, which just before bankruptcy had announced one of their highest possible performances and highest asset base, from that peak they had to go down because of leverage. Credit Suisse, I think, is not at the same scale, does not have the same leverage, has much better capital adequacy and much better liquidity coverage. I don't see them going the Lehmann